Covey's second habit in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is begin with the end in mind. He says if you've got the ladder up against the wrong wall, you are going to get to the wrong destination. And did you know that everything that we want, that we create in our lives, is created twice? It's created once in our imagination, in our belief, in our mind, in our vision. And it's created a second time when we actively put that out into the universe, when we create that physically. It must exist first in the mind. Today, I want to talk all about your vision, getting clarity for it, because this is one of the stumbling blocks that every time you sit down to do something will hold you back. So let's talk about how we get vision, why vision and clarity is so important. And I bet some of these scenarios will relate to where you are now, because it definitely has been for me. And even now, you have got to carry on with getting clarity over that vision, what it is you're doing, why it is you're doing it, and how do you get that vision in your mind so you know exactly what it looks like when you get there, what you're creating. So I want to start off today with thinking about, well, what have we been doing so far? We've probably been going with the flow, being quite passive. Our environment and all the expectations have sort of carried us to whatever career journey or business journey, if you're on that you have been on so far, or all the things that you are in your life, whether you're a girlfriend, a mum, a dad, all those things are kind of created by your environment around you. And how active have you been? I want you to answer this really honestly. How active have you been? Because most of us are unconsciously going with the flow of the river. We blame fate for everything. We blame circumstance. I can't do that. They won't support me. This person doesn't help me. And we give our power away all the time. And without that clarity, we just keep getting the same results because we're not changing our actions. We're just going with the flow. Every action, every day that points us in the same direction. You know the old saying, if you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you always got. And that's the thing here. But how many times have you sat down with really good intentions and thought, I'm going to just start writing some posts on social media about this thing I'm really interested in, or spread a message about something I learned over here to help other parents maybe. And then you sit down to do it. And because you don't know what you're doing, why you're doing it, you lack that vision and clarity, you start with the busy work. You think, well, maybe I'll just play around with my banner on my Facebook page, or I'll have a little look at other people's posts. And before you know it, that sort of spirals and you have no clarity of what you're doing, what your vision is, what your mission is. You're just lost in the midst of, oh, that person looks really good and I can't possibly keep up. Oh, I don't have the time to do that. So we lose focus and we give in too easily because we don't realize it's a marathon, not a sprint. So this is when I want you to look back 10 years. I want you to think of what was happening 10 years ago and think about where you are now, and are you where you planned to be, where you visualized and really wanted to be? Or have you just ended up here by chance? Have a real think about that. Have you just ended up here by chance? And then how do we make sure that in the next 10 years, wherever we end up is something that we have planned, we have visualized, and we really know in our mind that it's where we want to be, it's where we want to go. We've got that clarity. Know that if you are disconnected from your future vision, that you just start drifting. You start to feel like an underachiever because you actually kind of are. You're kind of coasting on the roller coaster of life, thinking, well, this is the hand I'm dealt, so this is what I'm going to do with. This is what I'm going to do. You feel unfulfilled, and you're often asking, who am I? I talked a minute ago about disempowering beliefs. I can't, I must do this. My husband doesn't support me. My children, if they were better behaved, I would be able to do this. And we're giving all our power away to everybody else instead of focusing on, well, what can I do? Maybe I can try an alternative. Maybe I can't control this, but I can control this time. I can control this idea. I can research, I can learn, I can do little bits to make progress. And that feels really hard when you're busy. When you're busy because you still have work, you still have a job, a full-time job, maybe you still have family, maybe you still have commitments outside of that. Projects that you've committed to and you don't know how to say no to or get out of. Or things that are meaningful, charitable work, but they don't fulfill you when it comes to your career and business goals. So how do you carve out some time so that you're making little bits of progress towards that vision, that end vision? And that's really what I want you to get some clarity on today. is how do we take back that personal responsibility and that power so that you can say, I own this. And these are the things I can do. And I know it in my own mind. So here's the thing that I want you to focus on first. Everything is created twice. I said right at the start of this episode. First, it's in your mind. And then when you can visualize it, that's when you start to become it. You start to act more like it. You start to take decisions like that person. You've got to really visualize it to the extent where it feels like it's already done, like you are that person. So let's say, for example, you want to step out as a parent consultant. You want to step out as somebody who advises parents on how to deal with tricky situations that you've been through. You want to share that information. You want to support parents. You want to help them with their first baby and the potty training and any of the challenges they've got with sleeping because you've been through it. Or you want to share everything you've known. Or maybe you want to get together all the experts and you're the coordinator here to bring all this information to these newborn parents, but in a way that doesn't feel patronizing, doesn't feel it's a big brand telling them off, but it's somebody who's understanding because you have been there and you've had these challenges. When they've got that vision and you know why you want to do it, you've really got to imagine in your mind, what does that person do? Well, they already start sharing everything they know. They already start to step into the role of asking questions, reaching out to the people, connecting with the people in the know, following those sorts of social media accounts, signing up to those newsletters, going to those study lessons, learning, taking courses on how to do parenting, positive parenting, sleep challenges, all of these sorts of things. You're already starting to think about, well, what does that person do? And you'll start to take inspiring action to become that person. You'll start to talk about it. You'll start to tell everybody about it. You'll start sharing it with the people you know for free. You will start to want to help them because you're stepping into those shoes. There is a really famous story about Edison and Barnes where he wanted to be in partnership with Edison, but he was nowhere near, and his social status meant he was never going to get anywhere near. He visualized it in his mind, he knew what he wanted to do, and he just kept preparing himself for it, thinking, how do I behave? How should I step forward? And proving himself in little steps because he was constantly preparing. It's kind of one of those things, isn't it? If you're handed a lottery win on the plate and you can do anything with it, how fulfilling will it feel versus having worked really hard and know you worked towards something, you built towards something, you're well developed, you've learnt, you've grown in the process, and you feel accomplished because I built that up, I created that. It's about the journey, isn't it? So this visualization, this is incredible. This is going to be this compelling big goal that's going to drive you forward. And if you're dreaming too small, that's probably why it's not giving you that pull. What is it you really want to achieve? What does it mean something to you? Know your core why. So here's what you're going to do is you're going to see, feel, believe, have the emotions to step into that role. And you're going to start to box off all those skills. Now, if you're not clear on your vision right now, I suggest you take lots of space because it's worth really letting this mellow and this will evolve over time. Start to visualize the types of things you'd like to do. Start to write them down. Think about brainstorming. All the things you're passionate about, the things you read about, the things that when you get talking about something, you can't stop. You're so passionate about it. When, you light up because that feels so good. And if you don't know what that is, then get out there and consume. Get out there and explore. Go to new courses, take classes, talk to people, join groups until you find the thing that sets you alive. And this is exactly what I had to do in my journey with Empowered Leaders in Tech, is I had to go on the journey through the leadership and the corporate roles to realize I don't want that. This is actually where my heart is, and it's about helping women to create businesses that work for their lives, that you can create the hours that you want. You dictate the terms and how much you earn and what that glass ceiling looks like. You can create passive streams of income. You're in control and you feel fulfilled and purposeful because you're using all of your potential and not just a little slither of it in your silo. And here's the thing, you can do that. You can create this vision. You can brainstorm all the things that you think will be in your vision. I want you to focus on the type of life and person you want to be as a focus around your values. You don't have to create an empire just because someone else did. You don't have to get in all the newspapers because somebody else did or on a TV show. If that isn't meaningful to you, there's no point putting it on there. Your vision has got to be the thing that you feel you feel guided to do by your heart. You feel you are meant to do and deliver to this world. So start brainstorming all of those things that you're passionate about, all of those things you want to explore more of and go deeper, all of the things people come and ask you now, the things that light you up when they talk to you. Brainstorm all of those things and start to visualize how you might deliver those. I want you to think not about products. We're not thinking about creating a business with a product right now. We're thinking about the vision of your future. Think about it in terms of buckets. What does my business look like? What does my financial independence goal look like? What does my health and wellness look like? And what does my family and relationships look like? Think about those buckets, because that is the holistic view of your life. You, your family and relationships, your career and business goals, and your money goals that keep you secure and financially independent. Hopefully, thinking about creating your goal in your mind first, emotionally believing and knowing that it will happen, that will be a really powerful message for you. That will help you to understand and solidify why it's so important that we get our visualization right from the start, because that's where it starts. It starts in here and in our hearts. And when we can see and feel and be it there, we can project this out into the world. We can take the right action. We will see the opportunities, because we will start selecting. Our neurological brains will be thinking, how do I filter out the stuff I'm not interested in and start to hone in and select on the opportunities that I currently can't see? And that will really help you. So hopefully you will start to get clarity on your vision, and you will use this session to really go away and have a think about your vision. I'd love to hear from you. My name is Sue Parker, and you can reach out to me. It's hello@sueparker.io. I would love to hear about your vision and your goals and how you've been going on for the last 10 years and what your targets are for the next 10 years. For now, have a fantastic week, folks, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.